and welcome back to my channel. My name is Makayla, and today we're talking about the Aquarius new moon that's happening on February 1st, 2022 at 12:45 a.m. East Coast time. Like always, you'll just want to cast a chart for where you are located in the world for your correct time zone. There's a couple announcements I want to make before we dive into this energy. First, I want to apologize that I have not been around for the first month of 2022. I actually started off the year with COVID and I was extremely tired and really feeling run down, very exhausted. I don't know if anybody has had COVID who is a subscriber to my channel, but I basically really just took it as a need to rest. I also have had a ton of projects going on underneath the surface that I haven't really explained yet to my followers, and I'm ready to just start telling you about all this new exciting stuff that's going on. So I took the month of January off to actually give myself the energy break so that I could focus all of my energy onto these other projects that are almost on completion. So the first one is I have collaborated with Brittany Montagna from Queen of Cards Tarot. I've actually uploaded a YouTube video of a conversation we had about stepping into your individuality, which is ironic because it really ties into this new moon that we're going to talk about today. So after our conversation, and it went super well, we had so much fun, we felt like really empowered, we felt like we really vibrated off of each other, that we decided to create our own oracle deck, which was a passion project that her and I had both been wanting to do. I had no idea how difficult the process is of actually creating your own oracle deck and how much energy actually goes into it. So for the last almost 3 months, her and I have been grinding away at creating this. This has never been done before. This is something that is completely unique and independent of all other oracle decks that are out there. And this is the first of 7 that's going to be released on April 12th. I'm going to link the website for our brand. We've named it the Zen Goddesses, and we're basically combining our brands together. So I will still have the scenic route. I'll still be here for evolutionary and predictive astrology and my lunar videos. She's still going to be doing her spiritual coaching and her tarot reading, but together we've also created a brand. So there's just more info that is coming out over the next year. And honestly, this is a long-term project for her and I. So the first deck is on the sacral chakra. We just decided that the sacral chakra was so important right now because I see a lot of people in the world trying to heal relationship dynamics and trying to manifest their goals. And that is where that energy comes from. So every chakra needs its time in knowledge and shine out in the world. So we're focusing on this. We're basically waiting on our artists to finish the artwork, and then we submit it for to get created, and then it will be released, like I said, on April 12th. So it's really, really exciting. I highly encourage you check that out. We're also going to have a podcast and a YouTube channel where we solely devote our time and energy to talking about healing the chakras and how people can utilize them in their life in many different ways. And you can take these skills and these messages that we've channeled with this deck and apply it to your everyday life. So it's super empowering. You know me, Aries, and she's a Pisces. So we just had a great collaboration together. We've had so much fun making it. Our YouTube channel is already up, and we already have some videos about the process of it all and what we've been going through while making it. And we're both Libra risings. So it couldn't have been a more perfect partnership. And that's what this Venus cycle has been for me. It's really been about bringing in new friendships that are much like siblings, that really feel like siblings, but also can be a very healthy and positive partnership as well. So many of you I know have seen my Venus retrograde video. I hope that it was super helpful. Venus just moved direct. I think it was yesterday or the day before. And I hope that everybody is starting to feel the energy setting in of what this internal dialogue was, and this reevaluation around relationships and money, happening in your life, and essentially your values, what you take of value to you. So please, if you have done a lot of inner work during this Venus retrograde, and you feel a shift of energy within you now, please drop me a comment. I always respond to the comments, and I'd love to know how this turned up for you and if the video I had posted helped. The other message I have is I created a brand new website. So that also took a lot of time and energy. I'm really excited about my new website. I have updated astrology prices, and it's easy to book. You can do it right through my website. I'm going to link that below. So there's been a lot of rebranding and changing. I have my new logo. I waited like 4 months for this logo, and there was a lot of back and forth making it, but I really feel it depicts the energy that the scenic route is about, and it's super powerful. So be sure to check that out. Lastly, this new moon, I'm going to get a little bit deep with this because I love to talk about the lunar cycles, because I think that working with the moon is so profound for us, and we can really do a lot of internal digging within ourselves to accelerate our growth. And this is a theme I feel under this Aquarius new moon. I think this is a really potent time for you to actually do some retrieving of your soul, whether it comes from childhood wounds that have been suppressed, or places in your life where you feel like you haven't been able to be authentic enough, or maybe express your individuality enough because of whatever dynamics have come up from your childhood up until now. I feel like there's a big liberation possible under this new moon, and also an ability to even recover parts of yourself from prior lifetimes that's going to help you accelerate towards your growth in this lifetime. This is a great time for you to start launching projects, even if you're not completely ready. Just like I have just talked about my Oracle deck coming out, I think it's still a good time for you to start accelerating your growth, your ideas, your passion projects, just taking off, if you will, on any type of new energy that you're wishing to grow for the long term. This new moon is going to be conjunct Saturn. Saturn does rule father time. It rules, parts of ourselves that we want to work hard towards for longevity. And it's just potent, this is really positive energy. There might be a little bit of a traumatic undertone for some people, but not everybody. It might be having this like shocking quality that comes through. You might get information that you didn't know or you didn't have before, because we have Mercury retrograde. Of course, I'll be discussing that, but this is really about building your personal pyramid from the ground up, that is based on your individual self and your self-expression and your own authenticity. I'm going to repeat this theme a lot under this new moon. I think it would be really beneficial for the collective. Aquarius always rules groups of people, the humanitarian stuff, the 11th house of hopes and wishes and big group dynamics. Okay, so that's why it's so important that every single one of us is living our own authentic path and learning to embrace our uniqueness without feeling like we have to be judged from our society or external circumstances or environments. This is very much a I don't give a fuck kind of new moon. I'm going to be who I am, whether you like it or not. And I am actually going to 100% support that for all of you. Obviously intention is really important. Anything malicious, it's karma. It will come back to you. But if your individuality is based from the heart, right? Aquarius and Leo are on the same axis. So if your individuality is based on the pure self-expression of yourself that is in good intention and comes from the heart, then you really can't do wrong. And this new moon energy is going to reward you. Like every new moon, there's a 6-month cycle and a 2.5-year cycle. And then there's a 4-week cycle. So you might start to see little things sprout out and grow under the next 4 weeks after this new moon. And then you'll see more in 6 months. And then in the 2.5-year cycle, when that ends, you might have like this huge project or this coming out of yourself, just like liberate yourself, that really comes into full effect in 2.5 years from now. So we're going to get into the aspects. I'm going to bring up the chart so you can see where this might be falling for you. And I do want to talk about the other aspects that this new moon is going through, the Mercury retrograde that we have, and the shift of the north node and the south node, which is huge for the next 18 months. Okay, so let's just get started. I hope you all are feeling this energy. It's very exciting. I know I'm feeling it. I have strong Aquarius placements. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, the new moon is happening down here in this Aquarius part of your chart at 12 degrees and 19 minutes, and it is conjunct this Saturn at 15 degrees and 30 minutes, my bad. Mercury retrograde. I might stumble upon my words a few times. So this new moon is squaring Uranus and Taurus at 10 degrees. So this square we've been dealing with for quite a while, right? This has been happening. This has been going on all last year. And then, it's pulling into this year as well. So this liberation effect that, is like non-conformity, struggling and having a tension between like conformity, or groups of people, or what the consensus believes is like helpful or not helpful, or like laws and establishments, systems, things becoming independent, groups of people wanting to become independent from structures that have been built for a long time. This whole liberation, this revolutionary type of energy has been going on since these Saturn Uranus squares have begun. And I would even say 2020, since COVID and that whole Saturn Pluto conjunction, Jupiter conjunction happened, which, really set off COVID in the Capricorn houses, right? And we still have a lot of Capricorn energy going on that we're going to talk about too. It's still rolling into 2022. But with this square, this new moon square, it makes me feel like, your personal sense of individuality, right, is really going to get this download, this universal download where you get the opportunity to start something new that is completely independent from what you've been doing before in your environments. Okay. And this is actually going to help accelerate your growth and your higher self towards the long haul. This might come in as unpredictable information, maybe an unpredictable download or idea that you get in this Aquarius house, but it's asking you, this square aspect is asking you to make that change, right? It's a tension, it's an irritation, but it's a breakthrough, because every square aspect that we have is this dynamic where we have to put in some work and effort. And if we consciously try to put in that work and effort, we are actually able to accelerate our growth and push ourselves forward. And because this new moon always signifies planting seeds for something new, for growth, right? We release on the full, we start something new, we start a new beginning on this new. It's going to plant some seeds for long-term growth and structure. Saturn is there in Aquarius asking you, to detach yourself, right, from what you've known and what you feel just doesn't resonate for you anymore. If you can get this higher vision, right, it's almost like recovering this lost sense of yourself that you haven't been able to fully embody yet and fully take in and own it and liberate yourself from like the groups of people that you don't resonate with anymore. Maybe certain family structure dynamics you don't resonate anymore. Wherever Aquarius is in your chart, that's going to be the environment where this liberation effect is taking place, right? So if it was happening for you in the 4th house right here, it might resonate with you that you're trying to liberate yourself from family dynamics that have caused you some trauma over the long haul. And other people, you know, it might shock other people. This Taurus, right? Because it might be in the 7th house. Uranus might be transiting your 7th house. If this is your 4th, 7th house square, it might shock other people, and create a sudden change. But this is ultimately to liberate you, so that you can go further on your journey and your path, right? You're walking this alone. And this is really the echo of this Aquarius theme of us moving into this Aquarius world, leaving the Pisces, you know, where we were subjected to each other, and that it was all about religion and faith. And it still is, but it's more like spirituality, right? It's more like owning your own self. It's more like recovering these lost visions that you've had, that you've kind of suppressed because you were fear of like being judged, or fear of being too unique or too eccentric, if you will, and just really owning this, like, I don't care, because I just have to do what's best for me, right? I think it's an emotional revolutionary change for many people under this new moon, that it's going to hit you where you just feel compelled to break free from something. And this could be entirely internal, and liberate yourself and allow yourself to just grow and expand your wings. You know, Aquarius is an air sign, and it's the higher air. You know, I always like to think about Aquarius with flying. It actually is associated with aviation. And when I would be flying, there was ultimate freedom because there's no red lights, right? There's no obstructions. There's basically the occasional thunderstorm that you have to reroute your path and go around, and the fuel stop. And that's how I always correlate like people's life journey, is that you have this ability to take off on your life and have ultimate freedom. And of course, there'll be obstacles in the way that will look like that thunderstorm or that fuel stop. But essentially, you have this open air and ultimate freedom in your life to create whatever it is and reach whatever destination it is that you want. Okay, so this square dynamic, you know, there might be some tension where you feel scared to move forward. You know, you have this fear, or, you know, it feels scary. Like, what if I'm judged? You know, what if I'm not prepared enough for it? I would say take off with this, because the energy under this new moon is really powerful and going to give you the ability to do that. Okay, so we also have Mercury retrograde at 24 degrees down here in Capricorn. I'm really bad with this right here, 24 degrees Capricorn. And Mercury retrograde is forming this lovely sextile to Neptune at 21 degrees in Pisces. So, of course, under a Mercury retrograde, we can hear back from ghosts from the past. We can talk about not signing new contracts. We can talk about, you know, not making any big purchases of things like that. We can talk about information coming in that you didn't have before that helps complete the story. But I'm also thinking about this Mercury retrograde as you sorting through this emotional fog, you know, because Neptune can make things foggy and disillusioned at times. And there might be some emotional dynamics that you're kind of shifting through under this time frame, and you're recovering it. So again, it's like that lost dream. Neptune can be our dreams, right? And our hopes, and our you know, consciousness, our giant consciousness, but it's underneath, right? It's our subconscious, actually. So Mercury is kind of retrograding, and to me, it's like retrieving something within ourselves. It's finding that lost ship at sea, because when it goes forward and it moves direct, it's going to be like, hey, I found that lost ship with all your dreams in it, right? All that stuff that you are just like, wish that you would be your dream life, you're imagining, right? Your creative abilities, your creative talents. It's going to retrieve that, so that when it moves direct, it can bring it forth into that Aquarius energy and allow yourself to be your authentic self, right? Because it recovered all of that. So I love that aspect under this new moon. I think that if you kind of get lost within your imagination, whether it's like just taking like a half hour or 25 minutes to journal about what you wish could be right now, right? Or what you would love to see happen for yourself over the next 6 months or the next year. If you had no judgment and no fear, what would you bring up? I mean, Mercury retrograde might help you retrieve that, because that sextile aspect between these two planets, it makes that concepts and ideas easy to collaborate and work with, and Neptune does, yeah, of course it brings delusion sometimes, but under this particular new moon, I think that we have such positive Aquarius energy going on that we're able to think innovatively and independently, and intellectually, because Aquarius is a highly intelligent sign, so we don't have so much water in the chart where we could get lost in the kind of Neptunian realm where, things might not be what we think they are. I think this is more about really searching for what is going to make you happy and feel like nurtured and loved and creative and independent and just really live up to your dream. At the same time, we still have Pluto in Capricorn, right? Pluto is going to be in Capricorn for a little bit longer, and we are approaching the United States Pluto return, but maybe I'll do a separate video on that. There's plenty of information out there on it anyway, many different ideas and dynamics. Actually, if you are going to do any digging about the US Pluto return, I highly suggest checking out any type of work that Richard Tarnas has done, which he's been doing a lot of podcast interviews with. He's also coming out with a new series soon, which is phenomenal. I saw a preview of it already. So definitely look out for Richard Tarnas's work. And if you are astrologically savvy and you have like a foundation, or you want to even start to learn, pick up his book, Cosmos and Psyche. It's definitely a difficult read, but it makes sense and you can take your time through it. And I would just look through anything with the Pluto or the Saturn-Uranus square dynamics that are in the book. You can kind of poke around. You don't have to start from the beginning. So especially if you know a little bit of astrology, you can definitely start picking up on some chapters that are relevant to the energy that's going on right now. So again, we'll talk about this Pluto in Capricorn at 26 degrees is forming the sextile to the South Node and a trine to Ceres and the North Node in Taurus. So again, this South Node, this Pluto wants to destroy, right? Pluto wants to break something down. It wants to recover stuff from the subconscious, and it wants you to have this Phoenix rising experience in your life. We don't mess with Pluto. Pluto is definitely about death and rebirth, but it's more psychological in essence as compared to like Mars, who can be more abrasive and aggressive in a physical form. Pluto with the sextile to the South Node in Scorpio, we're going to have this energy for the next 18 months, right? These nodes in the Scorpio Taurus axis. This is making me feel like it's a small little victory because this sextile aspect is easy. It's an easy flow, but Pluto and Scorpio are not easy energies, right? But it's asking you to let go of an attachment as well, which I'm going to reiterate. Sometimes we have to let go of an attached person, place, idea, thing for us to liberate ourselves to be our authentic self, which will, if we do let go of that attachment, lead into this North Node in Taurus, where we can plant the seed for something new to grow, right? We can nurture something new. And this is going to be something that is not dependent on somebody else, right? Letting go of that attachment, that Scorpio placement, but allowing yourself to make room and grow with something that is of self-value and self-assurance, right? Taurus themes, stuff that you can depend on solely on your own. Again, that's going to reflect on you just being independent and individual. How can you grow something that isn't based on an attachment to somebody else, where you're not codependent on somebody else, right? Because most of the times we get attached to something because it's a quality that we want, but we already own it within ourselves. So it's about retrieving that back, retrieving that quality that we see in somebody else or a job or a thing and owning it ourselves. You know, I see a lot of people who are actually quitting their jobs because they're like, I can do what my boss can do, but better, right? And they're going their own independent way. And that's a super, super supportive way to deal with this South Node, North Node axis. And I also want to highlight too that the asteroid Ceres is on this North Node, and wherever Ceres is we can create something and we can nurture something and mother it in our own way, right? For it to grow. But there's also an energy exchange type of dynamic that goes on with Ceres too, where I want people to think about how you're putting your energy, where you're placing it, and is it of equal value to you, right? Is what you're giving, are you getting back? So for instance, in my personal life, again, this project with the sacral chakra oracle deck, I wanted to think about if the energy and the time that I'm putting into this, was I going to get this back? And 100% I have been, because ultimately I've created this sacral chakra oracle deck to help heal other people, but it has been in return healing my own self as well. It's been a very powerful, profound type of experience. Okay, so that's where this energy can come up for you. Mars is going to reiterate. So we just had Mars move into Capricorn, and Mars is taking on this very different energy than it was in Sagittarius. It was a little bit flighty, it was a little bit adventurous in Sagittarius, but now in Capricorn, it's like, let's get to business, right? Let's move this dirt around. Let's do shoveling, let's do digging, let's do piling, let's build that pyramid that we want to get to all the way to the top, right? Let's actually do the work, because Mars is our hustle planet, right? It's our drive and it's our will and it's our physical assertion. And it's really what gets us motivated to do something, right? So if you're letting go of some attachments and you're getting excited about building something that feels really authentic for you, this Mars energy is going to help you grow this. It's going to help you focus on where you need to put that energy in that time for the long haul. You know, Capricorn is thinking about the long haul, and it might make you a little bit rigid and a little bit serious about it, but we need that Capricorn energy to make sure that we get from point A to point B, right? So again, I think also because there's so much Aquarian air, you know, intellectual up here, and then the square to Uranus, which is an Aquarius Aquarius is ruled by Uranus in the modern zodiac. There's a lot of like nervous stimulation, like nervous system stuff going on. So focus on grounding yourself with your root chakra in this area, especially with Mars going through an earth sign. So like make sure that you're digging your toes into the sand if you're living somewhere warm. I definitely wouldn't do that here in Rhode Island. We just got a huge snowstorm, but like doing yoga, you know, going to the gym, getting into your body, learning to feel into your body. And that's actually amplified because the North Node in Taurus is also an earthy sign. So again, we want to make sure that we're connecting ourselves to the body, sending our roots into the ground when we meditate, because you want to think about when you're meditating or you're focusing on bringing awareness into yourself and in your body. You don't just want to focus on, you know, up here, your third eye. You don't always just want to focus on that area. You actually want to be completely grounded between the earth and your higher self. That way that energy can funnel through you. Okay. So that way you're not like all floaty and up here. Things might not always make sense when you're too much in your third eye, right? So connecting to the body, your body will often tell you before your mind can even process something. You know, our emotional bodies are super intelligent. So I do want to highlight that, like while you're building, you know, and, you know, even the Neptune is going to be sextiling Ceres. There's this also floaty energy, right? We have Neptune at 21 Pisces, Ceres North Node right here at 28. The sextile Neptune can, you know, make us again lost at sea. It's good, get lost, retrieve those past memories and those dreams, but make sure you ground yourself too, so you can actually build from this and you can actually do that new moon energy. Okay. This was a really important aspect that popped up for me, was that this new moon right here is going to be forming an inconjunct to the black moon Lilith in Cancer at 10 degrees. Okay. And often with an inconjunct, we don't see the energy, right? It's just a blind spot for us. So for some of you, this isn't for everybody, but for some of you, reclaiming a part of yourself that's been lost, that you really want to show up for and get back, has to do with these deep emotional or psychological traumas that have happened in your life. Okay, and it has stemmed from childhood, or it stems from the mother. Okay, let's look at the Cancer archetype, the mother or one of the parents, right? Or the home life, just deep psychological areas of your life where you feel like ostracized, right? Like a victim almost. Okay, there's healing that can go on, but you might have this fear about being your individual self because this blind spot is hitting you. And you don't even see it because it's buried, right? It's buried in the psychological areas of yourself. It's in the subconscious areas of your life, right? Cancer is naturally ruling the 4th house, which has to do with our roots psychologically, emotionally, and literally physically, our family roots. And because Aquarius and Uranus, the square, has the ability to go back into the far term memory of our subconscious. And I'm talking like prior lifetime memory even, right? There's this retrieval that this new moon is asking you to do, to reclaim. And this inconjunction, this blind spot, it could very much be from those type of areas. Okay, so if you're embarking on this new journey and you need help, get the help, right? There's nothing wrong with it. Get a psychologist who, deals with this kind of karma stuff, right? Get some evolutionary astrology readings, right? We do the archaeology really of the soul in evolutionary astrology. Get some spiritual coaching, get any type of healing at all, which there's loads out there. Get some somatic body work for you, get some past lifetime readings. For instance, there's so much that you can do to recover and retrieve some of this knowledge and really heal this trauma so that you're not carrying it with you for the long term, right? And that you're actually breaking through these energy shifts and you're healing it so that your soul can evolve and grow. This is really a new moon that could be a huge acceleration for some people towards where you're trying to head in life. I'm talking like accelerated. Okay. This new moon could also bring up parts of yourself that you haven't been able to process until now. All right. That Uranus square to the new moon, you could get something coming in that just psychologically, emotionally, physically, your body and your soul knew that you weren't able to process until that moment. Okay. And I've had these issues, I've had these dynamics come up with myself as well, where I had a dream come through at one point and I wondered why I was dreaming it. I had a dream one time that I was on a boat with Hitler and I was the little child rowing the boat, okay, out at sea, and Hitler was directing the boat. And then I get up and I give Hitler a note, and I didn't know what was in the note, but it was cursive writing, which I had been doing a lot of cursive writing at the time with little roses and hearts in the corner. And I remember Hitler retrieving the note and feeling compassion and softness inside of him, but he had to be strong, and he had to feel strong because he was just like this Hitler. Okay. And when I woke up, it took me about 5 days to process this dream because I didn't understand what it meant for me. And then I finally clicked, where I was the little girl giving my adult version of myself the note, because I was portraying myself as this Hitler dynamic, right? I was being really, really, really hard on myself. And the little inner child within me wanted to heal that, wanted to give me compassion and strength. And I broke down in so many hard tears because that was such a hard informational dream work type of just situation that happened to me. And it was from my higher self and my higher consciousness because I was ready to heal that part of myself. Okay. And we all have these dynamics within us. Like, I feel like none of us are exempt from it. And there's no shame in having to go through parts of your life where you have to do deep healing because you've carried on trauma and wounds from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime, and they get impacted on you. But nothing is coincidence. Okay. You have the certain family dynamics that show up in your life to teach you things. You have certain relationships that show up to teach you things, certain jobs, certain situations, certain scenarios. None of this is a coincidence. Your soul has chosen to have these experiences so to teach you lessons so that you can evolve through this life, okay? So this energy is here to, especially with this new moon, to bring you awareness into yourself. I'm going to stop the recording and give you some final notes. So I know that was a lot of information to process, and I really hope that it helped. A couple of things that I like to do on new moon rituals is to just get like a jug of water from a CVS, put it out under the new moon, and then I drink it for the next few days while I set my intentions. I love to use water because of my Cancer moon. Definitely writing under this new moon will be very impactful for setting your intentions and manifesting them. But I was thinking about, because it's this Aquarian age, and Aquarius often has to do with like technology and innovation and, things that are just new and upcoming. I figured, why not do a video recording of yourself under this new moon and save it so that you can refer to it in 4 weeks, 6 months, and 2.5 years from now, and actually sit down, talk to yourself, your spirit guides, your guides, your archangels, whatever it is, and set your intentions to yourself while videotaping yourself, and then refer to it when you need to. Okay. And just remember that this is about recovering parts of yourself that really need self-expression and to be, creative and like just put out in the world. Okay. It's very important that you start to own who you are. A lot of this trauma that we see in the world and this anger comes because people are sick of being suppressed. And they're sick of not being able to be who they are. And this is the time now where everybody has time and space to be whoever it is you want to be, so just nurture yourself, be easy on yourself, pay attention to information coming in. You never know, you might hear a song that makes you think of something, write it down, or you might hear a message come in or an email. Subliminal messages, though, the universe really works in like weird ways to just give you little nudges to keep you on your path. Okay. Everybody, thank you again. Please, if you haven't yet already, hit like and subscribe to my channel. I'm back for 2022, and I'm really excited. And let me know how this new moon is going for you and what kind of energy you've been feeling. I'd really like to connect with everybody. And please check out my website and my Oracle deck coming out, and I'll be back again soon. Okay, bye.